No, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's a year to the day tomorrow when those terrible tornadoes were. So everybody's a little freaked out. I'm just so if I seem a little off, that's
It's all good.
Yeah.
This is actually the first time we've talked face to face.
yeah.
Yeah, we've texted and emailed, whatever, but we've never actually face to face talked. So this is awesome.
Thanks for your consideration. Thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh, of course I would have you. You're amazing, and I'm happy to support you in any way that I can.
Thank you. And
Yeah,
thanks for everything that you do for our community.
Well, you're welcome. I'm happy to do it. I feel compelled to do it, and it's a love project for me. So this is what I'll be doing until the rest of my days, you know.
I love it.
Okay, so in case somebody has been living under a rock and they don't know who Sarah Tomek is, could you please tell them a little bit about how you got started in the drumming world?
Sure. My father was a drummer. He wanted a boy, I think. He got stuck with me. No, he loved me. And the curse transcended, you know. So yeah, it was a lot of musicality in my family with my father, and the drums were always around. And, you know, as I got to be a teenager and got really much more involved with music and the love for the drum kit itself, you know, we would make deals with each other. Like he'd get the kit if I bought the cases. So, you know, he's the one that really got me started, just because I was lucky enough to be surrounded by gear as well. I didn't have to beg my parents for a drum set, you know.
Right.
So,
right. That's amazing. So yeah. Even though you had a dad, of course, that could teach you, did you ever take lessons from other teachers?
Yes. I studied with Joey Navolo. He had a drum studio in Neptune City, New Jersey. And I studied with Jason Rulo from Symphony X. He's a real progressive prog rock guy. Amazing drummer. And a little bit with Joe Bergamini as well, who was on Broadway a lot in Manhattan. And I did a Berkeley seminar, summer seminar for Latin. So I did that for one summer. But yeah, my privates were really mostly spent with Jason Rulo and Joe.
And what about in school? Like when you were growing up, were you in band in school and a drum line, anything like that?
You know, being from it's crazy when everybody would talk about drumline, because I'm from Jersey and I don't, you know, now living in Nashville and all these cats down there that, you know, they're crazy with the rudiments and always talking about drumline, and like it never was a big thing for me growing up. I just wasn't hip to it, you know. I was like cool. I didn't think the band was cool, and I think I was a sophomore and I joined this classic rock class. We had you know, music and classic rock. I'm like, that's like a cool elective. So I did that. And then my high school instructor heard me play and he's like, what are you doing? Like, you need to join band, you need to join wind ensemble, you need to join, you know, jazz band. And so the next year he had me in everything. And he was an amazing person in my career because, you know, I didn't start reading music until I was a junior. And then I started studying after that. But, you know, I played by ear and feel in the beginning and then started as a junior in high school. So I got a late start with from that angle, from the educational angle from it.
Sure.
But yeah, then, you know, that first year he had me in jazz band, he's like, well, you have a heavy foot. Okay. But yeah, Mr. Hollander, I'll never forget. He's one that always supported me, and you need that support when you're young.
So much.
To get you started.
So much. You're correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I did the same thing as far as my jazz band teacher said, you have a heavy foot, because of course when you're playing rock or pop or anything like that, the backbeat is bass drum snare. Yeah. But in jazz, it's a totally different, you know, you hardly hear the bass drum. It's just a little punchy, and it's
Yeah.
mostly like ride cymbal or hi-hat and a little bit on the snare, but it's mostly, you know, your right hand on the cymbals and not so much the backbeat. So that
Right.
was a real mind shift for me when I had to switch over. So I'm sure for you as well.
Yeah, and I still now, you know, with quarantine and the pandemic, I went back to all those old books again. You know, I went back to like the Ted Reed syncopation book,
Right.
and all those the jazz books. I know what it looks like, and I don't know who the author is, but it was the same thing, the independence of your hands, you know, and just, you know, just kind of reading that, learning how to float a little more, not so much attack
Yeah.
and aggression. Not to say I was an aggressive 17-year-old or anything wanting to play rock, but you know, the older I got, it became easier to kind of understand how to play that kind of genre, you know.
Sure.
But I still try to do it. So
yeah,
I'll prove
I
them
get it.
wrong one day.
Okay, so you graduate from high school. Did you go into college for music, or did you go straight into playing with bands and traveling and that?
Yeah, you know, this is a question I've been asked a lot. I've been asked by other drummers, like, what do you think about going to music college? And, you know, I battled with it. My parents, you know, I didn't come from any kind of wealthy background. My parents would have sent me to Berkeley or wherever I wanted to go. They would have supported me in that. And I knew it was really costly. It was a dream of mine, particularly to go to Berkeley at that point. It just was that esteemed college. And
Of course.
And I liked a lot of the things that, like, they had their, you know, composition for film scoring. They offered things that no other music college did. But at that point, again, I had just started really in musical education as a junior. So I just struggled with it. And I thought about, you know, the other thing that my instructor from high school was trying to push me into music college was jazz study. And I just didn't, to be frank, I didn't see the value monetarily doing that. And I just kind of went school of hard knocks, if you will. And I just started getting out and playing, and I just cross-pollinated through every genre, and I played with as many people as I could. And I think that was really where I started. Not to say now, looking back, I wish I had gone to more than a Berkeley summer seminar. And I don't look down upon any of that. It just wasn't a choice that I made.
Sure, of course. Yeah. We all have such different journeys when we go into this as a profession. Okay, so you grew up in New Jersey?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, gotcha. So when did you make the shift from Jersey to Nashville?
I was lying to my job. I was working a day job. I was actually software testing.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, I'm working from home. And I was actually in Florida working at the Seminole Casino in Florida. And I was gigging at night. And it was funny. It was the B Street Band was playing, and I was playing at the time with B.B. Buell, who was a rock and roller. And it was actually Maggie Rose, who I play with today. Her business partner had seen me, and Maggie, I know this story is very weird. Going back 5 years prior, Maggie, as an underage girl, got up the Stone Pony in Asbury Park and played with our band, and we played a cover with her. And 5 years later, here I am lying to my job, and I'm actually playing music in a casino. And her business partner remembered me. He's like, Sarah? I'm like, yes. He's like, do you remember Maggie Rose? And I was like, yes, I do. And he's like, can we have lunch tomorrow? And I'm like, sure, weird guy, let's have lunch tomorrow. You know? And I had to have the rest of the guys in the band that he was with, like, be like, no, he's legit. This guy has really worked on Maggie's career. She's actually in Nashville, yada, yada. And so I lied to my work the next day. And I was like, I'm just signing out for lunch because I'm home. And I went down, had a pina colada with his name, with Tom was his name. And he sold me on it, and I got an audition in Nashville, and I auditioned a week later, flew down there, and I auditioned for James Stroud, who's a big producer, also a drummer, and her manager, Scott Simon, at the time, who broke Tim McGraw. He was a big dog too. Okay. And then 2 weeks later, they're like, you have to move. Like, we're doing this. And there I was. It happened quick. I didn't have much time to think about it. It was terrifying.
Yeah.
You know, it was like, I didn't know anybody. I didn't know anything about country music.
Right.
And there I was, just thrown into it. And I was in a bus, and I was on tour immediately. And we were retained, and like, it was a dream. Like, oh my God, I'm going to be a musician full time.
Yeah.
And I haven't looked back, and that was in 2012.
Okay. Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So I was reading through your bio, and that's a pretty impressive piece of work that you've got. So you've played with some big names, and you've also done a slew of night show TV appearances. You want to talk about some of the people that you've played with?
Gosh, I'm just really lucky. You know, I've gotten to play with, Steven Tyler, who is a huge hero of mine. Anybody from my high school will tell you what a psychotic Aerosmith fan I was. So that whole story is weird. Steven, and I got to do late night with Sarah Bareilles, which was really phenomenal. It was an all-female band. And then I also got to be the featured drummer for the Seth Meyers, Late Night with Seth Meyers, because they do rotating drummers every week. So I got that opportunity from Kelly Peisty, who had the deal. I think they were using Peisty cymbals. They weren't with Ludwig drums at the time, but Kelly is the one that got me the gig and put my name in a hat. And there I was, being a featured drummer, and now the camera's on me, and I'm like, you know, I thought my whole life I kind of like hide behind the cymbals, and so yeah, I've been, you know, really grateful and very lucky, and gotten to do some really cool things, and a lot of stuff with Steven Tyler, specifically some PBS stuff and late night, early morning shows too. 4 o'clock in the morning wake up call.
Wow. So PBS, what did you do on PBS?
That was one of the first things we did with Steven. God, that was maybe like 2015, 2016. Okay. We did a whole show. It was more like broken down, like smaller kit. I used like blast sticks and more acoustic instruments. And it was more just when he was starting to do his solo thing, it was more of like an introduction to that. And we did some Aerosmith songs on that, as well as we rearranged some of those songs. And we did some of his new material, and, you know, trying to make it something its own with the Loving Mary bands, which was his Nashville-based band. That wasn't Aerosmith. So that PBS special got to take you into his life as an American Idol and his career and his musicality. And then kind of when he was making the shift of doing a record in Nashville and having this band that wasn't Aerosmith and it's got 3 girls in it. Nice. So that was really cool. Yeah. And that was probably my first TV thing. So I was pretty terrified. I won't lie.
Hey, that would be a totally natural response.
Yeah. It's fun. I like those challenges. I like to feel a little on edge. I think that means you're breathing and you have blood in your body.
It makes us better. Anytime that I feel completely comfortable with something, I feel like I haven't challenged myself enough.
Right.
My bar is not high enough if I'm completely comfortable where I am.
Even when you're playing songs for years and you just one night have a different approach, or you kind of mess people up with a different fill, or you kind of jam it out in a different way. And like, you just got to continually try to make things new and exciting for yourself and everybody on stage. Like, we're entertainers, we're musicians, we're drummers, and it's such an integral part of our job to support those on stage, but also sometimes up a little bit and be like, oh, you didn't know that was coming, you know, and kind of make things a little different, and you know,
Isn't that the most fun feeling when you're on stage and you do something that's just really cool and the whole band looks at you and starts smiling and they're like, that was awesome.
You're like,
I got
or when you try to do something awesome and then it does not turn out awesome and you can't hide, you're not
there's nothing
guitar,
you can do.
They smile at you anyway.
That's really awesome.
But they say, you know, if you just repeat a mistake, then it's jazz, baby.
Right. Right. Yeah. One of my instructors told me one time, and I think this is a Miles Davis quote, you don't get the first note wrong, but whatever you do after that, that could be wrong. So if you get the first note wrong, if you can correct it with the second one, maybe, but if you get that one wrong too, then it's it's a crap show. Well, anyway, okay, we got off course. Who is somebody that you would really love to work with?
Oh, wow. I gotta say, I know she's huge now, but I have been in love with Brandi Carlile for like 12 years. And I've always looked up to Allison. Allison Miller, got to be her drummer for many years. And we did the Sarah Bareilles show together. That was amazing. I just think she's got a phenomenal career. I think she's really honest. I love her music. And like, I just think her shows are phenomenal. And I'd love to do something with her in the future.
You probably have the connections for it. I'm sure you do. All the people that you've met and worked with.
Yeah, I'll just keep putting it out there.
Yeah, well, this is going to be on YouTube, so share away once we have it up
I'll
there.
Just keep tagging her, slightly stalking.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, she just produced Tanya Tucker's record, and that was a really cool thing. She's just on a cool journey, and I just have mad respect for her. So she'd be one artist I would definitely like to.
That is awesome.
Work with.
Okay, so I know that you play lots of different genres of music, but if you're sitting down just to play something fun, what would be the style that you really love to sit down and play?
I like just groove soul music. That's always going to be on our turntable. It's something I'll always go do when I'm trying to write. And if I write from the ground up with the drums, it's something that's always just going to be a little groovy, whether it's like a Purdy shuffle or, you know. I also am a huge fan of indie music, and I love different time signatures, and I'll try to like come up with tom patterns that, you know, something 7 that's fun. And, you know, it just really depends. When I'm practicing, I'm trying to do things that are not my style at all, like Latin and jazz and things like that.
Very good.
I love all of Carlito. What is his name? He won.
Juan Carlito Mendoza.
Mendoza.
One of my favorite drummers out there.
I just go and I just stalk his YouTube page, and I'm just like, you know, and he's phenomenal. He's had a great career for years from, what was that? The Guitar Center thing?
Guitar Center, yeah.
And I find him to be quite an inspiration and an effortless player. And I like to study a lot of his Latin stuff. So it just depends, you know, what you're in the mood for that day, I guess.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Sorry, my seat is coming undone. All right. Okay. Well, why don't I open it up real quick to the people that are here and see if you guys have some questions.
I do. I have a technical question, and we actually have to get together for coffee, Sarah, sometime soon.
I know.
Yeah, I'm actually in Virginia right now, but we have a couple of gigs here. Believe it or not, gigs. Holy crap, right? But anyway, my question is this: on the last album you played, what Paiste hi-hats were you playing? Because I need a different set. I've been playing the Sweet K's, but I want to try to get some Paistes that have that darker kind of nice tone, especially when it's open. And I really like what you were playing. What is that?
the masters are the bomb.
Yeah, I have the ride and the crash. So yes, so I didn't know the hi-hat. What are they, 15s or 16s or what?
If you're talking about the Maggie Rose Change the Whole Thing record,
yep.
I have both 14 and 15s. I love them. I used the 15s on the Steven Tyler tour, and I love them so much that I bought the 14s, and I used those primarily for that record in the studio. And I use those Masters 14s and 15s on everything I do, always. Along with, I always have that Black Beauty on hand. So
yes, understood. You're Ludwig. I'm a DW, but I get it. I actually bought a Superphonic. I bought one over at Nelson's recently, and I might be shifting to Ludwig. I don't know. They're pretty awesome. So yeah, I get you there.
It's whatever, whatever. There's different things suited for different songs, and Peisty, just for me, they've been with me. I've been with them forever. So before I had a big name on my resume, they took me in, and they've been nothing but family. And Kelly and Tim over there, I just love them. And I got to go to Switzerland and go to the factory, and they are all handmade, and I just love their product. So yeah, those Masters.
Yeah, me too.
They're the shit.
I'm really glad I bought the Masters. I got them for recently for my country artist, and that ride is just insane. And I have the 18-inch crash. I just love it. It's just so nice. Thanks for sharing that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
What about you guys? Anybody here have another question for Sarah? Okay, go ahead, Nina.
Okay. I read a book by, I don't want to bring up any bad things, but by Joy Kramer. And I know, sorry. And this is kind of a funny thing though. It said that Steven Tyler would rank on his leg to make it stronger. And I just wondered if he ever pushed on your leg to make it a little bit stronger for your kick drum. Or if he ever gave you any grief about anything like that. I just thought that would be kind of a cute anecdote.
Steven's a drummer. So, going back to the first rehearsal was in his home, and he had a Vista Light kit in the corner. And so there, I'm already terrified because I'm like, oh, he's going to hate me. This is, and he, at that point, from that day one, he had been nothing but supportive and so kind. And, I'm the first drummer he's played with that's not Joey in 40 years.
Yeah.
So awesome. He likes to push you. Mm-hmm. Regardless of what instrumentation. So there would be things, hey, at sound check, can you play this? And he'll hum it, and I'll be like, yeah, or he'll try to get you in the middle. Sometimes in the middle of a set, he thinks that we have telepathy and we can read his mind, and he turns around. Meanwhile, it's a rock show. I can't hear him. I have in-ears in, and he's like, and it's telling me what fill to do, and I'm like, I can't, And then sometimes I'll just do something different. He'll be like, and he'll love it. And, but he was nothing but awesome to me. I don't have a bad word about him.
I just thought it would be kind of difficult to play with someone who was a drummer and knew exactly what he wanted. I mean, I guess in a way it'd be good, but in another way, I don't know. I guess it's just, I just wondered how that went,
He literally took a harp out, a harmonica at a sound check and blew it. And he's like, this is flat. And he could hear it. So, I mean, yeah, he's a musical genius, he's a rock star, but he grew up under a Juilliard, pianist father. And so he hears everything you're doing. So the first time I played Walk This Way, you're doing it wrong. And it's stop. So it's actually and you stop with the hat. So your left foot is, you know what I mean? And I was like, oh, I never knew that, and I miss him. I think he's just been in Maui for the last year, just loving life. So
Well, I have to tell you that I was trying to play Same Old Song and Dance in my convertible with my Diet Coke and my McDonald's cup. And I actually I was a convertible and I littered and I felt bad about littering, but I'm like, oh, well, you know,
Oh my gosh.
Years ago.
Awesome.
That's hilarious.
It was for a good cause.
Yeah. We've talked a little bit about your endorsing companies, the Peisty, awesome. Those masters cymbals, they sound amazing. Also, we've talked about you're with Ludwig. Who else? What other companies are you with?
Humes and Berg cases. They make the best around. I've been using those bags forever. Now I use the Enduro Pros. They even made me a Cajon case when I had to travel for acoustic gigs. So they're a phenomenal company. Hercules stands. Now that we're doing home recording as well, we use all their microphone stands. I use their iPad clips. Because I know it's ancient, but I still do like to use an iPad as my click. I can just move with it quicker, you know, if you want to come off of it ever. And Vic Firth, I've been with forever. Thank God they're another company like Peisty that took me in before I had the big name, and I think they make the best sticks around. So, you know, those were the three big ones, Ludwig, Peisty, and Vic for me, because as a child, that's like the childhood dream. I think Remo should probably give me drum heads.
I will make a phone call because I'm with Remo. I'll just talk to my rep. Yeah.
You know, I do use, and this is so funny, right? When you start off as a drummer, all you want are drums, really, like that. You just dream of more kits, and then like eventually you're like, I really need sticks and heads is the thing, you know. And it just depends on what you're doing. I have a Vislight kit. I use the black dots on those, you know. I use the reverse dots on my snares. I love that. I use coated on some of my kits, coated ambassadors top, you know, batter and resonant. You know, it just depends on what you want. But yeah, heads are a huge thing.
Yeah, I agree. And I love Remo. I'm so happy to be part of the Remo family. So I'll call Roger. He needs to know about you.
Thank you.
Not a problem. Okay, so I know
geez. I can't forget Lewitt microphones. I'm such a jerk. Lewitt drum mics are the latest company I'm with. Since lockdown, they hooked me up with a DDP Pro. It's just a full mic kit, and it's beautiful. I've been using it on every live stream I've done with Maggie Rose. We've been using it on all of our home recordings. So big shout out to Lewitt, because they're amazing.
Lewitt, so, I've not used those, so I'll have to look
they're an Austrian company. They're phenomenal.
Fantastic.
And so great price.
Okay, that's always important, because microphones, drum mics can go. I mean, there's a huge gamut on where those fall. So I know that since lockdown, everything has kind of changed and shifted for so many artists. I know that you're doing home recording and you're doing live streaming. Is there other plans that you have for this year already?
I'm really happy that we actually are putting some dates in the books.
Okay.
With Maggie Rose and them Vibes, we have some dates coming in the books. Some festivals outdoor festivals look to be happening later in the year. So that team is always good with keeping us busy with the streams, but it does look like live shows are coming in. I think arenas will be the last to come back.
Probably, yeah.
But that, and I've been fortunate. I got to do a record with Manolo Garcia, who is a Spanish artist. We actually got a Latin pop Grammy with his record a couple years back.
Nice.
So I was in New York a couple months ago, and we tracked a record for him, and he was just Zooming from Spain because we were supposed to make the record in Madrid. So of course those things are still an issue. But I am, if anything makes anybody feel a little more optimistic, I am seeing things for me and other artists start to fill in a little bit, especially as the vaccines go out. And
yeah,
what a piece of crap it's been for
I
us
know.
in our history,
Seriously.
God.
Yeah, everything's shut down.
It's just trying to hang in. So that's why, again, with the Lewitt microphones, the price point is so great for home recordings. To have the ability to do that, I think, is also very important. So I'm just trying to get by, just like everybody else.
And do you have a home studio then?
We do. We actually have the kit and Pro Tools running in our bedroom. We have a big master suite, which is great because none of the ceilings, it's nothing is really like a 90-degree angle, and the drum sounds are great up there. So
nice.
And I can open the bathroom door and I put a room mic facing the shower in the corner of the shower, so I get that natural slap back, and I can put a room mic in the other corner, and we've been having great success at home.
That's fantastic.
So, yeah.
What about teaching? Have you ever been a clinician, or do you ever do Skype teaching or in-person lessons, anything like that?
I have been approached so much about this, and I've never gotten into it. I'm not opposed to it. I just feel like I'm still learning, so I don't know, always on that journey for myself. How can I help anybody else yet is kind of where my head's always at,
I can relate to that. I'm with you there.
Yeah. So I really haven't. But like if band members want to, or people that are not musicians, I'll show them how to play a beat or something like that. But no, not formal lessons.
Okay. Very good. I just wondered, because I know that's been a place that some professional musicians have gone because they can't gig. I mean, it's another way, another money stream to kind of make up for the canceled gigs. So I know a lot of people have been doing those kinds of things.
I'm also a person that kind of needs to be with schooling and education. I like to be with that person. Yeah. It kind of makes me more accountable.
Yeah.
Not saying I'm that much of a slacker, but but yeah, I know, and it works. It works for people, and make it work and continue to inspire and educate. That's great for them, but I haven't done that yet.
Understood. Okay. So is there, I mean, you've done so many things already in your career. Is there something that you just haven't gotten to do that you're really dying to do as a professional drummer?
I want to play SNL.
Oh yeah.
I'm dying to play. There's some like venues I'm dying to play, like Red Rocks, MSG. That's the big one. I think that's when you're like, I've done it. Those things. I'm very fortunate. I've gotten to tour the world and play with beautiful musicians, and I feel so grateful. So I feel very lucky, and I think it's just at this point, it's just aspiring to play with different artists, like, just different rooms or different venues, different places in the world,
Yeah.
But I am very grateful for all the things that I've gotten to do so far. So
you've had an amazing run already, and you're so young still. So you've got some longevity in front of you. Lots of fun things coming. Of course you will have lots of good things. Is there one, like if you were looking back on your career, is there one or two shows that you've played that you just thought, I've made it, or this is the most fun I think I've ever had playing with an artist, or just something that stands out?
Yeah, that when I did that the Manolo Garcia tour, and we toured Spain, and he is basically like the Bruce Springsteen of Spain, and he doesn't even need to tour Europe, he just tours Spain. And it's like, And yeah, I just love the Spanish attitude, because it's like, oh yeah, we'll do like 1 gig a week. And I'm like, cool. Like,
nice.
You know, and he is so much about art and just music, and not chasing a dollar value, or chasing radio, or trying to please his label. He is just always been Manolo Garcia, and done what he wanted to. And you could see that with the crowd. And when I got to play there, and he had an American band that we made the record with, and then he had his Spanish band. And his Spanish band he had been playing with for over 10 years. And my feeling was, I'm going to come here with the other Americans, and, you know, they're going to feel, it's like, I'm going to be intimidated, like, because they're going to obviously feel threatened. And there was none of that there. There was no sense of competing among each other. It was a full family in a band. Mm-hmm. And, you know, we got to play those venues, and you're playing huge arenas, like 30,000, 15 to 30. And he would play for 3 hours. Wow. And then at the end, it was just like kind of the synthy Moog thing. And then it kind of morphed into like a drum solo. And then I just kind of started taking that as the thing every night. And, you know, you literally are now hearing 30,000 people, and people were standing clapping when it was done. And I'm like, did I just get a standing ovation? Like, and your mind, and you just, you know, your heart is beating out your chest, and you're like, just gave it everything. And like, and these people are there, and they support you too, not just the artist, you know. So Spain was that one time, especially after that one song, when I got done, and he'd be like, Sada, and then you know, and you're like, oh my God, that's me, that's my name.
Yeah, wow.
And that was pretty mind blowing. That was amazing. Being an actual featured drummer on Seth Meyers, mind blowing, because again, that it's about you for a minute, and you know, mind blowing. And those are definitely two moments. And then anytime I, you know, would be setting up, and I would just see in front of me Steven Tyler's microphone stand. You're looking at the scarves,
right?
And like, this is real. You know, like you were a poster in my bedroom. And now I hear your vocal in my ear, and I can talk back to you. And so all of these experiences, and you just pinch yourself, and you just hope you can do it again tomorrow, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. What cool experience for you.
Yeah.
Okay, here's one of those embarrassing questions. Have you ever had a gear mishap on stage? Thrown a stick, cymbal stand fell over, something weird?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Oh God. Well, one of the worst was actually, we were performing on the Seth Meyers show with Steven Tyler, and the end really takes off, and the cymbal stand just went bloop, and it just fell right over on TV. And I was just like, you know, that was one of the most terrifying moments for sure.
Yeah.
I've also, in my younger days, would play kind of like an idiot, and I broke, you know, a resonant snare head.
Oh wow.
I showed up to Maggie Rose tour, and I didn't have my stick bag.
Oh no.
Kind of important.
Yeah.
I've broken kick heads. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Or I've not looked as cool, like throwing a stick or done things like that. But yeah, the thing on TV, when you're on TV, really got to get it right, you know? Yes. Everything else is kind of forgivable. The stick bag thing wasn't really forgivable, but I managed to like get sticks somehow. I don't know how I did that, but that was a good joke for about 2 years now.
I'm sure. Oh my golly.
You get your stick bag? Yeah, I got a stick bag, thanks.
It's good the cymbal stand didn't hit somebody on the way down.
No, it was on TV, and like, you know, Steven gets up from the piano, and like, and I just hit it, and it just was like, woo, like right on me. So at least the camera angle was, and I don't think I've ever hurt anybody. Well, my guitar player would say elsewise.
Uh-oh.
You know, when they were like soloing, sometimes if somebody's like on stage and not supposed to be playing, I will throw a quick stick at them, you know?
Oh man,
So,
you are fiery.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Hey, I'm a band leader. You gotta like keep everybody together here.
I got it.
Sorry,
I actually,
Kyle.
when I was starting out way a long time ago, I was playing a gig on a Friday night and I was playing the house kit and I wasn't used to it. You know how it is. You're used to your own kit. You could do it all day long. I was playing the house kit. I wasn't used to it. And my stick caught one of the rims, flew and hit the singer in the back of the head. I was like, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
yeah.
Amazing.
I know.
Unintentional, it's fine. I intentionally threw a stick, but it hit his leg. He's fine.
Yeah, right. That's awesome. Okay, you guys, do you have any other questions for the amazing Sarah Tomek? Anybody?
Not really a question, but thanks for chatting with us. And it's always inspiring to see successful women drummers, you know.
Absolutely. And there's more of us every day. And like when I first moved to Nashville, that wasn't a big scene. And now I know so many females, and it's like, thank God, like, let's do this. We got this. So thank you for everything that you do. And thank you for your consideration and having me. And I
of course
appreciate all of you fine ladies. Thank you.
Absolutely. And I'm so thankful that you took your time out to enlighten us on your life and your career. And we will do whatever we can to support you. If you have a chance, in the little chat box, could you drop some links on where we can find you on social media, where we can find your music, whether it's iTunes, Spotify, whatever. And I want to make sure that I share that with the group so that we can follow you and support you.
Great. I will do. Thank you, Tammy, everybody. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Did I ever send you a t-shirt or a Drummergirls United gear, anything like that?
I didn't get anything yet.
Okay, so I'll PM you later and make sure that I have your correct address and whatever you want, and then I'll make sure you'll get something from me.
Right on. Thanks so much.
All right, you're very welcome. You guys, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and thank you for taking the time to be with us.
Cheers, y'all.
All right, thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.